Tina, come on and get to me.
All right, what is it, Tuesday? Did you need any engines, by the way? If you need any engines, it's Auto Parts Store Tina. Parts Store Tina. That's where you get your engines from. There she is. There's another video there. Fantastic stuff. All right, what's going on? What's going on, everybody? Tuesday. That means it must be the Tuesday Night Radio Baloney Live. I am your host, Richie Baloney. How's everybody doing? Good to see you. Rosie, Izzy, how you guys doing? Now, the thing about her engines is they're very complete, and very pretty as well. And I just ask you, though, please don't lie to her. Please don't hurt her. She's got very complete engines, many engines in her factory. What are you even thinking by not getting one of her engines? I don't know. I don't know what's wrong with the world these days. She's got all these engines. She's just trying to get rid of them. I mean, come on, can't a gal make a living? So this is Tina. I've done some research, and it's Tina. It's Auto Parts Store Tina, and it's real. It's a real thing. They really are her auto parts. And please, she asked you to believe her. You can. Let's see, Rosie. I'm late and still like number one. That's double good karma. And in case anybody doesn't know, the first like on the stream gets double good karma. Of course, everybody gets good karma when they like the stream, when they subscribe to the channel, especially when they become a channel member. That's a big deal. But when you're the first like, you get double good karma. And we're streaming on Rumble. We're streaming on YouTube. We're streaming on X. We're streaming on Locals. You could get 8 good karmas out of all of that. 8 in these troubled times? Come on. Izzy, how you doing? Like number 2. You know what? I'm feeling generous. 1.5 good karmas for you for getting like number 2. Let's see. Rosie asks, is she wearing different clothes? She is. She is. She's like, Rosie likes the pink.
You can tell me many auto parts in my warehouse. If you look for them, you can contact me. Don't lie to me, don't question me. I have many auto parts, they are complete.
They are complete. That's my favorite thing about them. You know, I think that men love her. I love her. I want to marry her. Well, not marry. I don't want to marry. I don't want to get married again. When they come out with those super science fiction robots, I'll get one of those of her. She'll probably sell it to me. She'll be making videos then, like, buy my sex a robot. It is not really me. You can do what you want to it, but not to me. Something like that. Some sort of song like that. My robot very complete. What am I saying? What am I saying? Am I saying this in public? What the hell? What's wrong with me? Rosie says, just for information, she is not included in your engine order. No, but when she has the warehouse full of sex robots that are all her, you know, they'll be very complete. You can do what you want. Let's see. Wouldn't know what to do with an engine that didn't come in something already built, Izzy says. Well, they're complete engines. They're not missing any parts, so that's important. Let's see. Spambot. Good evening, everyone. Spambot says, good to see you, Spambot. Yeah, so we found another video of Auto Parts Store Tina. That's who she is. Auto Parts Store Tina, right there. And there's more videos. I'm going to try and dig up some more. Doesn't seem like that. It seems like these are the only 2 on X, though, unfortunately. But we'll see if we can get more because everybody loves her, myself included. I am smitten by Auto Parts Store Tina.
Many auto parts in my warehouse. If you need the auto parts, I'm waiting for you. Many engines in my warehouse. Choose the Tina, come on and get me.
Who could say no to that? I can't. No way. I'm booking a flight to China immediately to get one of those very complete engines. All right. What the hell's going on? Izzy says, was strangely excited by Richie singing. It was good. It was good. Rosie says, do you think she has as many engines because electric cars are selling now? Well, you can't really trust anything you hear about China, because I see like videos of like massive like parks full of like just rotting electric cars with like weeds growing in between the seats and stuff. So I don't know. I think they use a lot of them there, but all right. Well, should we just get to the menu? What are we going to talk about tonight? Let's get to it. So first off, we're going to talk about this Biden Autopen stuff, which is just crazy. I mean, it's not actually crazy. It's actually totally to be expected, isn't it? And we've got the New York Times article here that tells us about it. And yes, here we go. Show full article. There we go. And I highlighted the important parts. Basically, the whole article is just apologetics before they actually just reveal what the actual lead is. So they just bury the actual lead like way down here. Where is it? Where are my highlights? Where are my highlights? I highlighted a bunch of stuff. Is it this far? How far down is it? What? It looks like... Oh, it erased my highlights. Fantastic. Okay, well, we'll find those again. But the real story is hidden. This is a typical trick of framing for places like the New York Times, is that they just bury the lead. They'll write an article. The truth will be in there, but they'll spend the entire thing before they get to it doing apologetics and making you feel like, well, it's not so big of a deal after all. But we'll get to that. We're going to talk about ICE a little bit, which is just insanity. It's just an actual insurrection. It's incredible. We're going to talk a little bit about the Epstein stuff, and the prison video was actually missing almost 3 minutes. We'll talk about that. It's just crazy. We're going to talk about Trump tariffs, and that also relates to Canada as well, obviously. Pierre Poilievre is attacking, obviously, Mark Carney for his unbelievable amounts of conflict of interest that we found out about that was kept hidden from the Canadian public during the election for obvious reasons. Mark Carney, we're going to talk about him. I'm not a fan. I'm just not a fan. It turns out, though, that all those public sector workers, the ones who voted against Pierre Poilievre in Ottawa, a bunch of them are going to lose their jobs because Carney lied during the election. So that's kind of tragic irony for them, I guess. It's not going to actually do anything. We're still going to run a massive deficit. The debt is going to increase massively, but we'll get into all of that. This is just letting you know what's on the menu. Oh yeah, by the way, CBC Radio Canada could see almost 200 million in cuts within 3 years. Well, that's not why they shilled for Mark Carney the entire election, and are still doing it now. I wonder if the attitude towards it will change a little bit now, because apparently he lied to them too. He told them he was giving them 150 million extra. Not so fast, I guess. Let's see. 121,000 mail-in ballots went uncounted. Canada. Oh, Canada. Oh, Canada. 121,000 mail-in ballots in the Canadian election went uncounted. Oh, Canada. Oh, Canada. We got some memes. Uh-oh. That's not a good idea right there. Let's see. Russia hoax. We got a little bit more on this. This Zoran Mamdani. I mean, it just never ends with this guy. We've got the last tab, which is a bunch of random stuff, animals and cars. And oh, this is interesting. We're going to take a look at this story. I think Rosie sent this one in. They can spy on you with lasers through the walls now and find out like what your password is as you're typing it into your computer. So we're going to take a look at this. This article is actually from last year. But yeah, that's something we missed that we should definitely take a look at. We've got weird, crazy feminists here tattooing. Like, why? What is the point you're trying to make? I don't get it. I mean, you were gross before that, and you're gross now. but there's no way out now. You're just going to remain gross. I don't get it. I personally don't understand it. Anyway, there's lots of stuff in there. So let's get back to the chat for a second, and then we shall begin our show. What do we got next? What are you thinking, she asks. I don't know. What are any of us thinking? Let's see. Let's see. What else? So what are you guys saying? Turtles, good to see you. Nevada, good to see you. She said, Turtle says, evening Balonians. Nevada says, hey, deplorables. That's what we are. Turtle says, had graffiti at work saying out and about Canada. Out and about Canada. What's that? Spambot says, it won't work with my keyboard. Special keyboard. Well, enlighten us. The keys are labeled quartly, but I switch between Dvorak and Colmac from time to time. All right. Well, it seems like a good plan. Though I don't really understand what it means. I'll have to research it. Let's see. JJ Nevada says they're retards. It could just apply to so many people these days, couldn't it? Nevada says, I want my engines. I want engines. She's got engines. All you have to do is go to that warehouse in China. She will give you one. Just do me a favor. Don't lie to her. Don't hurt her. Don't hurt her. Just go and get the engine. Don't lie to her that you want an engine and then you don't. Turtle says Minneapolis is going commie with their Somali mayor candidate. I know. We've already taken a look at him. I think, when was that, last night or the night before? I can't remember. But yeah, they've got a lot of Somalis there and a lot of commies, apparently. Turtle says, I don't know how to say oot and a boot, but isn't that a Canadian phrase? But they spelled it wrong, and I had to paint over it. Well, there you go. You did the right thing. Let's see. I don't know what any of this means, Spambot. I have no idea what any of that. Oh, JJ Vada says, I want me engines. Me engines. Okay. I think that sounds fair. Turtle says Elmo has got to the dark side. Yes. What happened with Elmo? They put out a chatbot for Elmo, and I think it wanted to start the fourth Reich or something. I don't know. This has been a thing ever since they came up with the chatbot thing. The whole idea of the chatbot, like the personality, you could chat with something. I mean, I'm not talking about like chatbot GPS, but those, like a chatbot, like Twitter account or something. Yeah, like right at the start, they immediately all became neo-Nazis immediately. And yeah, I don't know why that is. It's weird. Let's see. All right. So maybe we should just get to this then. What do you think? Should we just get to this? All right, let's just get her done. All right. Western Journal. Breaking: Biden chief of staff admits to authorizing Autopen without knowing if Joe Biden approved. Well, this is all coming from the New York Times. And let's just go straight to the New York Times article. Okay. So Biden says he made the clemency decisions that were recorded with Autopen. That's the headline, but that's not really the headline. That's not really the story. The story is that he didn't. You see the framing, right? Donald J. Trump and his allies have begun investigations. Donald J. Trump and his allies have begun investigations to support their claims that Joseph R. Biden Jr. was incapacitated and his staff conspired to take presidential actions in his name. Well, nobody's claiming that he was literally incapacitated, like he couldn't move or talk, right? This is just the framing. It's every single time. It's so dishonest. The saying is that he wasn't in his right mind. That's what they're saying. They're saying he was compromised intellectually, and then he was compromised. His faculties were compromised and are compromised. Former President Joseph R. Biden Jr. is escalating his battle against Republican claims that he might not have been in control of high-profile clemency decisions issued under his name at the end of his term, and more generally, that his cognitive state impaired his functioning in office. Yes, that is the claim, and it's true that his cognitive state did impair his functioning in office. In an interview with the New York Times, Mr. Biden said that he had orally granted all the pardons and communications I'm struggling tonight, people. Hold on. I need some caffeine. Hold on. There we go. All right, let's do this. In an interview with the New York Times, Mr. Biden said that he had orally granted all the pardons and commutations issued at the end of his term, calling President Trump and other Republicans liars for claiming his aides had used an Autopen to do so without his authorization. I made every decision, Mr. Biden said in a phone interview on Thursday, asserting that he had his staff use an Autopen replicating his signature on the clemency warrants because we're talking about a whole lot of people, according to Biden. So this is how they started out, right? Trump and Republicans are liars, claiming his aides used Autopen to do so without his authorization. You know what you could show right after that, which would be so interesting? Oh, unfortunately, I had highlighted this in the text earlier, and it seems to have disappeared for some reason. I will have to find it again. Hold on. Let's see. Hold on, people. I have read all of this, but it's a long interview. All right, so here's this. Let's get to this. This is what I did earlier, and it erased for some reason. They also show that the use of the Autopen was managed by Mr. Biden's White House staff secretary, Miss Feldman. She wanted to receive written accounts confirming Mr. Biden's oral instructions in the meetings before having it used to produce the warrants recording the clemency actions the email shows. So they have meetings about this stuff, and then she wants to see written accounts confirming Mr. Biden's oral instructions. So for everybody who thought that these things, all of these files came up onto the president's desk, onto Biden's desk, and he would spend an afternoon maybe just signing all of these documents. No. We'll find out how few he actually signed at the end of this article. Okay, so this as well. The aides referred to those written accounts of meetings at which Mr. Biden delivered oral decisions as blurbs. The accounts were drafted by aides to the senior advisors who had participated in the key meetings, like Mr. Biden's chief of staff, Jeffrey D. Zients, and Mr. Siskel. The assistants who drafted the blurbs were not themselves in the room with Mr. Biden. According to the lists of meeting participants, so the assistants who drafted the blurbs were not themselves in the room with Mr. Biden, according to the lists of meeting participants. The emails imply that Mr. Siskel and Mr. Zients relayed what Mr. Biden had said to the assistants, who then documented it. So, this is the president's signature we're talking about here. Does this seem secure in any way? Does this seem rife for corruption in any way? I'm really thinking that it does. The assistant circulated the drafts to Mr. Sisko, Mr. Zientz, and other meeting participants before sending the final versions to Miss Feldman, again copying the meeting participants. These things are going all around. It almost seems like it's designed so that nobody would ever really know if Joe Biden actually approved anything or not. Okay. How about this? Mr. Biden did not individually approve each name for the categorical pardons that applied to large numbers of people. He and aides confirmed. So, right there, Mr. Biden did not individually approve each name. So, not every single pardon was not every single pardon was approved by Mr. Biden. What did they say at the beginning again? Hold on. At the beginning of that seems like the lead to me right there. That seems like the lead. Let's see. In an interview with the New York Times, Mr. Biden said that he had orally granted all the pardons and commutations issued at the end of his term, calling President Trump and other Republicans liars for claiming his aides had used an Autopen to do so without his authorization. Then we go through here. They write a bunch of stuff that's totally irrelevant, and we know why they're doing it. It's for framing reasons, so that when you get down to this, first off, probably not going to get down this far. Most people won't read down this far, but once you do, you've already been prepped to go, oh, well, whatever. Hold on. There we are. Mr. Biden did not individually approve each name for the categorical pardons that applied to large numbers of people. So, again, what he's railing about not being true up here, is true. Why is it all the way down there? I mean, that seems like it's kind of the lead. Like Biden didn't actually approve all of the pardons personally. That's like people were just auto-penning them. That seems to be the lead. The lead is that he didn't actually individually review all of the pardons. That seems to be the lead to me. That seems to be the real story. Rather, after extensive discussion of different possible criteria, he signed off on the standards he wanted to be used to determine which convicts would qualify for reduction in sentence. Now, you know what's really interesting about all of this? You go, well, there's large numbers of people. I mean, okay, well, maybe that kind of makes sense for an Autopen if you only have so much time. But I'm sure the other ones, no problem. I mean, obviously, all of the other ones he must have signed. The important ones. Mr. Biden granted Hunter Biden a full pardon in December 2024. It was the only clemency warrant in that period that Mr. Biden signed with his own hand. It was the only clemency warrant in that period that Mr. Biden signed with his own hand. So the rest was all Autopen. All Autopen. And with a chain that really leaves it with a chain of custody of these pardons that nobody can prove actually leads back to Biden. I mean, this is like it's designed to be corrupt, designed for people to be able to sell pardons, for instance, sell them to people, or people to just get themselves pardoned without Biden ever knowing about it. Let's go back up. Was there anything else in here? All right, so let's go back here. So according to this New York Times article, Biden's staff was, according to the New York Times article, there appears to be a lot of pardons that were not individually reviewed by Joe Biden, and that he only ever hand signed one of them. One. And all the rest, Autopen. People were approved to use the Autopen for him, as long as they said, yep, Biden gave the okay. This all seems very corrupt, does it not? Senator Rand Paul says, in July 2023, I referred Dr. Anthony Fauci to the Department of Justice for lying under oath to Congress. His own emails directly contradicted his sworn testimony. New York Times reports Fauci was quietly pardoned by an Autopen operated by Biden's staff. If the president didn't authorize this pardon personally, then the department has a duty to investigate and prosecute as it would any ordinary citizen. Fauci has been sainted by the extremist left. I'm so glad he says extremist left. We need to be using the word extremist regarding the left a lot more. You know, progressive extremism, far left progressives, extremism is a word that has been used as a cudgel against the right for it seems like forever now, against just accurate descriptions of reality, perfectly moderate, reasonable views. We really need to take that word back and use it against them because they actually are extreme. I mean, I don't know. Does sex changes for children seem like a moderate idea? Does open borders seem like a moderate idea? No, these are extremist ideas. These are far, far left. Fauci is being sainted by the extremist left, but it doesn't erase his lying before Congress. I am officially re-referring Dr. Fauci to the Department of Justice. Well, I think every pardon has to be called into question now. I mean, who was operating the Autopen for Fauci's pardon? His preemptive pardon, by the way. Here's Donald Trump talking about the Autopen.
Look, the Autopen, I think, is maybe one of the biggest scandals that we've had in 50 to 100 years. This is a tremendous scandal. And I know the people on the other side of the, see that desk, that Resolute desk? Unfortunately, he used it before me. But, we have our choice of 7 desks. They're all beautiful, but I chose the Resolute, and so did he, unfortunately. But the people on the other side of the Resolute desk, I know them. Lisa, the whole group, and they're no good. They're sick people. And I guarantee you he knew nothing about what he was signing. I guarantee it.
They're no good. They're sick people. He didn't know what he was signing. Yeah. I'm not going to argue with that. I'm not going to argue with that at all. Let's see. From John Strand, wow, the Biden Autopen pardons are a fraud. Liz Cheney violated 1512, the 20-year felony she helped put me in prison for when I was totally innocent. She's guilty of sin and destroyed thousands of lives. Attorney General Pam Bondi, it's time for real justice. I'm of the mind that it's all of this stuff that now that Epstein is not on the table for a while at least, this is why. It's for this stuff. Let's see. Mike Engelman, it's been revealed that Joe Biden's January 6th Select Committee pardons were signed by Autopen at the direction of an assistant, making them null and void, just like Fauci. Prosecute and put them all through what they put innocent people through over a lie. No one's above the law. So it sounds like it was just a free-for-all for pardons, right? In the White House. I would not be at all surprised if it's uncovered that a bunch of them were paid for. Clearly, Biden had no idea what was going on. It was a cabal running the whole thing. And if there was anybody really in control of them, it's the cabal. Oversight Committee, the GOP Oversight Committee. The New York Times quietly confirms Biden aides used the Autopen to issue executive actions without a clear sign he even approved them. Yeah, it's just somebody said that he did. I mean, come on. This is exactly why we're investigating. We must know who was calling the shots in the West Wing. The fifth will not help them cover up the biggest political scandal in history. It's bigger than Watergate. There's so much that's bigger than Watergate now. Watergate is like nothing compared to all the corruption that is being seen. You know, Russiagate, Steele dossier. I mean, it's really, truly astonishing. But I just want to refer to this article again. Biden says he made the headline should be Biden did not sign Biden did not sign pardons. Biden had aides. Biden aides signed the pardons, or Biden only actually signed one clemency document for his son. I mean, it's incredible. Biden says he made the clemency decisions that were recorded with Autopen. He says that, but he also says, let's see, where is it? Hold on. Mr. Biden did not individually approve each name for the categorical pardons that applied to large numbers of people, he and aides confirmed. Rather, after extensive discussion of different possible criteria, he signed off on the standards he wanted to be used to determine which convicts would qualify for reduction in sentence. We know that he only hand-signed one himself. One himself, we know this, because Biden told the New York Times this. It was the only clemency warrant in that period that Mr. Biden signed with his own hand. So these categorical pardons, was this just people on death row? Was it just convicts? Was this the January 6ers? Was that a category? Anyway, they buried the lead in this story, to put it mildly. It's fairly incredible. You just had a bunch of aides running around as if they were the president. It's incredible. It's incredible. But I feel like this is something that they are going to get to the bottom of. This is very personal to Trump, and I think they are going to continue this, and there will be results from this. All right, let's get back to the chat for a second. In case you guys need an engine, might want to pay attention to this. Let's see. Let's see. Hold on. Turtle says engine in the bedroom replaces they them energy. Very nice. Let's see. Turtle says U.S. is run by woke assistants using the Autopen. Turtle says he pardoned 1,500 people in one day. 1,500 in one day. Wow. Yeah, he's definitely not capable of signing 1,500. But it really does bring into question when you see stuff like this, when you see stories like this, right, where you're just having like all of them just thrown into doubt now. Is it really useful to have a Autopen? Is it maybe it should be restricted to just extremely important events, perhaps. Chief Flood, how you doing? Good to see you. Let's see. Rosie says, let's see him sit with Joe or Tucker to defend his decision. Well, that won't happen. I'm sure he had that interview and they stuck him right back in the cryogenic chamber again. Nevada says, Biden's mind has been gone since around 2011 after his brain surgery. Yeah, I mean, it was really noticeable by the time that he started running, that he declared for the presidency. It was really starting to show by then, and it was only, I mean, even with the, let's say Herculean efforts of the media to try and conceal it, it was still obvious to anybody who wanted to see it, to anybody who allowed themselves to see it. Let's see. Turtles, yes, and what happened in Vegas when he had to go to the hospital after hitting his head after the debate with Trump? He was out of it then. Look on this channel. This channel was saying the guy's out of it. This guy is he's lost. He's clearly losing his mind. Let's see. JJ Nawaz says, need to highlight that shit, Richie. Yep. G Flood, I have no doubt that Biden agreed with everything put in front of him, whether he understood it or not. Well, this is the thing. I thought that they were just putting things in front of him and he was just signing them without knowing what it was. But it turns out they weren't even doing that. They just had that Autopen and they were just using that apparently for everything. Turtle says, Obama aids to boot. Yeah, of course. Let's see. Turtle says Fauci goes to jail. Let's fucking go. Who knows? He did lie. I mean, he lied. I mean, he should have been charged with contempt of Congress. I mean, he openly lied to Rand Paul about gain of function, right? Like he's under oath there. They sent Bannon to prison for a lot less and Flynn as well. Let's see. Turtle says, cheers, y'all. Going swimming. Trust the government, you fools. Never. Let's see. Rosie says they have dozens of patents for the previous 20 years for created viruses and jabs. Well, Biden answered all the questions correctly, so obviously he was mentally sharp enough to run the country. Well, what were the questions? What's your name? He probably still remembered his name at that time. Nevada makes a great point here. He says, I just hit the like button. Everybody hit that like button. Get your free good karma right now. Get that good karma right now. Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you? I'm not saying something terrible is going to happen to you if you don't hit the like button and get that good karma. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, subscribe also as well. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying, how could I even know that? That's crazy. But, it wouldn't hurt. It wouldn't hurt. Go ahead and do it right now. Go ahead. Just do it. Let's see. Nevada says there won't be any justice for this behavior. Probably not. Probably, but you can always hope. You can always dream. There won't be any justice. Nevada says not one Republican wants the Epstein list released. Well, maybe this is a different case though. Dravis, how you doing? He also says hit the like button. That's great advice. Let's see. Nevada says 6 months of investigation and then no arrest, just like always. You might be surprised. Maybe I'm just the eternal optimist. I don't know. Spambot says, well, this is also a very good point. He wasn't losing his mind. It was long lost already. Yeah, he was already deeply compromised before the primary in 2020 or 2019. No, I guess the primary was in 2020. He started running in 2019, of course, yeah. Let's see. Nevada said, I heard there is one Chinese woman for every 100 men. I don't think it's like that. I think it's probably like 90 for 100. Because they had that one-child policy. And there was a bias towards male babies because they were, more likely to be able to take care of the parents in old age. But I don't think it was quite that. Let's take a look. Let's fact check it. Fact check. What is the gender imbalance in China? Let's take a look, see what it comes up with. Okay. China has a significant gender imbalance with significantly more males than females, particularly in the birth-sex ratio. This imbalance is largely attributed to traditional preferences for male offspring combined with the implementation of the one-child policy. The imbalance has led to social issues like increased competition, blah, blah, blah. So what is the imbalance, though? That's what we want to know. Okay. So the sex ratio at birth remains around 112 males for every 100 females, compared to the global average of 105 or 106. So, yeah, there's definitely an imbalance there. It's not that. It's not that bad, but it's bad. It's going to cause social problems there, by the way. Young men who can't find women or start families end up, devil will find work, right? Let's see. Rosie says, patented virus. These words are not supposed to be together. Well, I mean, what they tell us is that they do it so that then they can study them so that then they can come up with vaccines for them. And then, because that's worked out great so far. It's worked out great so far. That's awesome that they do that. Maybe they just shouldn't do that. Maybe they shouldn't, maybe they shouldn't create really unlikely viruses that are extremely unlikely to occur in nature, right? Because because it's extremely unlikely one of them is going to evolve into being the perfect virus to kill people. And they've got lots of those. Like, maybe just don't even start in the first place. Maybe we're just better off without it. Vada says they kill the girls because of high taxes on them. Told ya 112 to 1. No, it's 112 to 100. It's 112 to 100. It's not 112 to 1. $112 to 100. So for every 100 women, there's 112 men. All right. Let's see. Oh, where are we going here? Let's move on. So let's talk about ICE a little bit here, because it's just such a, I will constantly talk about, things that seem like an alternate reality. How do you have like this? Really, it just looks now like this insurrectionary force that is backed by like mayors and governors and senators and just like the most popular Democrat politicians that whose purpose is just simply to defy federal law, federal immigration law. This is just insane how it could come to this. It's insane that this is happening in the United States. I mean, you keep hearing words like civil war and stuff, but I mean, these are people that are saying that federal law does not matter to them. Eric Doherty, just in, it has come out that the assaults on ICE are up a whopping 830%, and Stephen Miller is fuming. Let's take a look.
Child predators and child rapists from these communities in mass. We are removing drug dealers. We are removing gang members. We have multiple foreign terrorist organizations like the Sinaloa cartel, like Tren de Aragua, like MS-13 that were imported in vast numbers by the Biden administration to rape, kill, maim, and murder innocent Americans. So that's the dystopia that we are healing, that we are resolving by getting these monsters out of our country. And as we are doing that under President Trump's leadership, Democrats are leading an insurrectionist mob to try to murder ICE officers. I can't be clear enough about this. The rhetoric from Governor Newsom, the rhetoric from Karen Bass, the rhetoric from Democrat leaders in Washington is directly encouraging and incentivizing murderous migrant mobs to attack ICE officers. When they describe ICE officers, these heroes, as some kind of fascist force, some kind of a Gestapo force, they are using the language that is meant to justify violence. ICE officers are literally in real time liberating American communities, once peaceful, once idyllic American communities from an invasion force. I cannot imagine a nobler, a more righteous activity for any American to do than to go into these communities, face off against hostile mobs, and literally free them from the forces of destruction and violence.
You have elected officials defying federal law to abet criminals. Like, shouldn't they just be arrested? Like, shouldn't the people that are effectively insurrecting against the government just be like they are breaking the law themselves? You can't abet criminals, right? You can't abet people in your country illegally. That's all against the law. It's really weird. Like, it's surreal how far there's so many things in the Western world, not just the United States, obviously, throughout the Western world, through Canada, Europe, that are just surreal. They're so weird. They're so counterproductive. They're so, I think, immoral in so many cases that it's just surreal that this is what happened, that this is where the Western world is right now. Of course, the United States being the leader of that. But even in like Europe, you don't have stuff like this, like sanctuary cities. It's crazy. Let's see. People like Gavin Newsom, who says that half of California's construction workers and 41% of agricultural workers are illegals. You mean like the child labor on the marijuana farms? Like that, Gavin Newsom? Okay, let's take a look.
Community, all these mixed status families, $8.5 billion of tax collection in California every year from undocs. $8.5 billion that we receive just at the state level of taxes. That was the last Pew estimate.
Yeah, well, what's the net cost, Gavin? What's the net cost? I guess we're not going to hear that, are we?
So it's not insignificant. Backbone, I mean, it's half of our agriculture work. You care about farmers and ranchers. If that's what your number one go-to commitment, then you sure as hell should care about their workers.
It's weird. It's like they think it's like he thinks, I'm sure he doesn't think this. He's just saying this for political reasons, but he's pretending to believe that it's like a natural law that only people that are in your country illegally can like pick crops. As if that it's just a totally alien concept that citizens might do that there might be some conditions under which citizens, people who are rightfully in their own country, might do that work. Bizarre.
41% of our construction workers, Texas and California have the highest percentage of their construction workers that would fall into that category. How the hell do we rebuild Altadena and Palisades? We're going to need a peak next year. We estimate about 70,000 workers. Without that workforce, ain't going to happen. You're struggling here. You imagine a peak there. So I think there needs to be a pathway for those folks as we secure the border, and we own that issue.
Do you feel that they're taking American jobs?
Not in Tulare County. Not in Ventura County. I don't know many people that want a job out there in those packing facilities. Mm-hmm. I don't see many people look like me jumping at those jobs. I just don't. Maybe there's some exceptions.
Yeah, white people won't take those jobs just because. I wonder if there's a reason. I wonder if there's a reason why they're not getting those jobs. I wonder if it's something to do with wages. Right? I wonder if it's something to do with they just don't get hired even when they do apply, because it's just more of a pain in the ass than having people that just won't complain. They'll be afraid to complain, that aren't going to ask for raises, and that you don't have to pay a living wage anyway. I wonder if that has anything to do with it. It's so weird. Like, he is advocating for people to be in his country illegally, in the United States, to just totally ignore immigration law. It's weird. They said secure the border. What was he saying about that while Biden was in office? Did he say, Biden, the president, can just shut down the border? He didn't say that, did he? They were all saying that they needed this bipartisan bill and the Republicans and blah, blah, blah. It turns out, yeah, president can just shut down the border. Trump did it. Right? Trump did it. I find it all surreal. It's weird to me. Let's see what happened here. State rep from Libs of TikTok, State Representative Enrique Sanchez, who was arrested for DUI earlier this year, calls ICE agents Nazi Gestapo thugs in an online rant after an MS-13 gang member facing fentanyl charges was arrested with a smile across his face. Weird. Just Democrats supporting criminal illegal alien gangs over American citizens. Weird. Like, this is the hill you want to die on? This guy? This guy. Weird. Totally insane. In fact, surreal. Hard to believe. All right. So, from Homeland Security, federal officers arrested at least 361 illegal aliens from 2 marijuana grow sites in California, including violent and dangerous criminal illegal aliens convicted of rape, child molestation, and kidnapping during the operation who were working at the site. This is what they're defending. It's so weird. This is what Gavin Newsom is defending in his state. It's so weird. I mean, they picked up children working at the marijuana grow farm. And this is what he's defending. Like, again, it's just surreal. All right. Let's go back to the chat for a second, and then we'll move on to the next story. Let's see. Am I sure about the 112 men to 100 women in China? Yes, I'm sure. Well, like 112 to 1 women in a country. Like, come on. Like, I mean, for one thing, the entire population would decline by like 90% in one generation, or 98% in one generation, right? Like, no, of course. 112 to 100, I'm certain. Or somewhere around there. Let's see. Why is it double? Yeah, I don't know why it's doubling up there, Nevada. Let's see. G Flood says conditions like being paid a living wage. Yes, exactly. Izzy says he wants a new slave class. Yeah, the goal is, and I believe it's the same in Canada and everywhere they're doing this, is to import a permanent underclass that you keep on the verge of poverty all the time so that they are also dependent on you. And so they can clean your toilets and, mow your lawn and stuff, but also they're dependent. They're going to need some government assistance, so they will vote for you. Nevada says scab wages. G Flood says Democrats do love having slaves. They sure do. They sure do. They always have. Let's see. G Flood says the president can't just shut down the border. He has a duty to do so when the nation is threatened. Well, I'm not talking about like shutting down the ports of entry. I'm just talking about illegal immigration. And the president can, and clearly can, and Trump has. Although I assume that he could just obviously shut down the ports of entry too. I mean, right? You could. Has a duty to do so when the nation is threatened. Yeah. Chief, I assume you mean the president can just shut down the border. Has a duty to do so when the nation's threatened. Yes. Let's see. And Nevada said, used to be that foreign workers got work visas. Yep. They were vetted first and we knew who they were. Yes, that's sanity, right? I mean, even in Canada, people need visas to get here and work, right? Like, let's see. G. Flood says, remember, folks, buy only locally grown child labor free marijuana. There you go. Let's see. G. Flood says, with 12% more men than women, that's still 80 million men left out. It's crazy, huh? Yeah, I mean, that's going to cause social unrest because men, left to themselves without a wife, without a family, without a girlfriend, with no prospects, they start to go nuts. All right, what's going on here? What the heck is going on here? Good Lord, what is this? What kind of crazy nonsense is this? What's going on? Still haven't tried 1775 coffee? Now's your shot. The 1775 starter kit just dropped only 1,000 units. 1,000 units, people. That's not many. You're getting the bold dark roast that hits harder than a CNN fact check. I don't understand that line. The smooth medium roast and the Vitality mushroom coffee for clean energy and laser focus. No crash, no commies. Oh, single origin, small batch, toxin-free. Thank God I don't like toxins. And mold-free. I don't want the mold. Plus, you're also getting a gold spoon clip. A gold spoon clip. I've always wanted one of those because freedom isn't scooped with plastic. That's why. A frother strong enough to stir up your coffee and your mother-in-law's political opinions. I bet they're terrible. And a black 1775 tumbler that says, I don't take life advice or caffeine from a woke sea witch. Yeah! Let him have it, Richie. $170 worth of coffee and gear, yours for only $99. My friends, I'm not great at math, but that's under $100 right there. This is for the ones who've been watching 1775 blow up on Rumble. We've all been doing that, haven't we? And we've been wondering if it's actually worth it. Spoiler alert, it sure is. Go to 1775coffee.com/studio. That's 1775coffee.com/studio and grab your starter kit before they're all gone. They're going fast, people. Because guess what? Bold beans, clean fuel, and a morning routine that stands for something, just like Rumble does. And what does it stand for, by the way? What does it stand for? I was about to continue there, but then I realized I need to be specific. It stands for free speech. That's the most important thing of all. Start your day with coffee that actually backs what you believe. Unless you're some sort of commie or something, I guess. And we don't got any commies in the audience, right? Right? Let's see. Should I have some caffeine? I think I should. There we go. All right. Now what's going on? Now what are we doing? Guess we'll do this. From Joe Rogan Podcast News, according to a new Wired report, the Jeffrey Epstein prison video the DOJ released had almost 3 minutes missing. Not one like previously reported. So they just cut out 3 minutes of, why would you even release that? Why would you? Because people are going to, why'd you cut the 3 minutes out? This whole thing has just not been handled well. It's totally insane. So Ghislaine Maxwell breaks her silence. She's going to break her silence. Let's take a look at this article. What's going on here? She wants to testify on Epstein. So what is happening here? Ghislaine Maxwell is prepared to appear and testify before Congress amid the fallout over the release of the Epstein files. Something tells me that this is not going to happen, and they're not going to let it happen. Maxwell, 63, is the sole person in jail, spending 20 years on child sex trafficking charges, even though pedophile Jeffrey Epstein reportedly controlled a network of young talk about surreal again. It's just crazy. It's just crazy. Maxwell claims she should have been protected from prosecution as part of a non-prosecution agreement signed by Epstein, her former boyfriend and boss, in 2007 when he agreed to plead guilty to 2 minor prostitution counts in a sweetheart deal that resulted in his spending minimal time in prison, because obviously he was working with the government. Let's see. According to a source close to Maxwell, so a source close to Maxwell, so does that mean next to nothing? I don't know. Epstein's former girlfriend, who continues to assert her innocence, would welcome the chance to sit in front of Congress and tell her story, according to a source close to Maxwell, which... So, yeah, okay, I fully expect nothing to come of that. All right. So Liz Crokin, of course, more Jeffrey Epstein files will come out. This should be Captain Obvious to anyone who isn't retarded, she says. Well, I don't know. Lara Trump would not have to lay this out if people actually did their own research and learned to think critically. It's not like President Trump ran to take down Epstein. His entire elite pedo ring and child trafficking altogether. I don't know. I mean, feels like there's maybe some cope happening on this.
We want to make sure everything is on the right track for this country. Fortunately, you've seen no border crossings in the last month. 0, by the way. I think that's incredible. No one's talking about that enough. 0 illegal border crossings in the month of June. Amazing how that's all gone. So I don't know that this was top of mind for him, but he hears all the noise and he hears all of the consternation out there. And I think he's going to want to set things right as well. So I believe that there will probably be more coming on this. And I believe anything that they are able to release that doesn't, damage any witnesses or anyone underage or anything like that, I believe they'll probably try to get out sooner rather than later because they hear it and they understand it. So hopefully we see that happen sooner than later. And I guess that would be my advice. But to everybody out there who's all worked up about it, there's no great plot to keep this information away that I'm aware of. I do just believe that maybe it's been slow rolled for reasons that hopefully we understand down the line. And I think we're probably going to get more transparency.
I don't know. He said the Democrats made it up. I mean, I don't think it's been handled well. I don't think it's been handled well at all. Let's see. Do we need that one? I don't think we need that one. Let's see. All right. So, and that's all that I've got on that. And where will it go? Will anything come out on this? Will anything come out? I don't know. I mean, I would have to say maybe like right before Trump leaves office or something. Maybe that would be a time to do it. I don't know. But I don't know. The tweet, the truth post about the Democrats made it all up. I'm not sure that was a great move, I got to say. Let's see. White House. This morning, I finalized an important deal with the Republic of Indonesia. Thank you to the people of Indonesia for your friendship and commitment to balancing our trade deficit. Canada's right next to the United States. What about a trade deal there? Mark Carney, he's signing trade deals with Indonesia. They're like the other side of the world. We're right here. Why can't you do something about that? Trump announces 35% tariffs on all Canadian goods starting August 1st. Nice work. Nice elbows up there, Mark Carney. I mean, the Indonesians aren't worried because I guess they're better at negotiating. I guess Mark Carney is just really, really terrible at negotiating. Maybe he doesn't even want a deal. Maybe that's it. Maybe he thinks that way we can get Canadians, the gullible, low information Canadians, to decide that they want to be part of the EU or something and give up our sovereignty to them. Here, Mark Nixon. Mark Carney finally spoke since Trump's 35% tariff threat. Did Canada's elite negotiator promise relief? Nope, he admits we'll just have to live with it. Funny, tariffs are terrible for Canada, but how do they look on Carney's U.S. heavy portfolio? Well, that's an interesting thing because out of all of his conflicts of interest, the over 100, the vast majority are American companies. Isn't that interesting? Including a bunch of like oil companies as well. Isn't that interesting? Let's hear what he has to say here. The great negotiator, the man who knows how the world works. He told us that. He knows how the world works. Let's hear what he has to say.
Well, we want to take you live right now to Ottawa, where Prime Minister Mark Carney is speaking to reporters just ahead of his cabinet meeting. You can see the camera just getting into position here. We want to give you a chance to listen in to what the Prime Minister is saying about his meeting and the potential for negotiations with the U.S. over new tariffs.
There's not a lot of evidence right now. And with regards to negotiations for any country or any jurisdiction to have a tariff-free agreement, Canada finds itself in a situation at the moment with a way of having close to free trade continuing. But there are issues, obviously, in the steel, automobile, pharmaceutical, and aluminum sector, as well as softwood lumber. So we need to stabilize the situation for Canada. But the tariff for Canada is almost the lowest in the world imposed by Americans.
Tariff. What's your response to that?
35%. 35. Okay, so he's got nothing, right? 35% tariff threat. Now, will it end up being that? I don't think so. This is part of what Trump does, but clearly the negotiations aren't going well. This is what we got for all the big talk during the election. All the big talk from the man who knows how the world works. Man who knows how the world works and can get things done. And he's a master negotiator. This is what we got. We got nothing. We got nothing. We got a stupid elbows up chicken dance out of it, which I didn't enjoy. I never did. That's about all of Mark Carney's prime ministership that the people who voted for him are ever going to get. They had great fun putting their elbows up and doing their chicken dance in front of Rosemary Barton on the CBC in their living rooms. That's about all they're getting. All right. Let's go to, okay, hold on a second. So we got big news, people. Big news. Here we go. Spambot Fodder has just gifted, I believe this is like the 70th gifted subscription, which is the best thing anybody can do for my channel, by the way. That is why Spambot Fodder is basically an Earth Angel. I consider him an Earth Angel right now. It is the best thing you can do for my channel. He has just gifted a subscription to G Flood, which is a perfect thing. It's the perfect gifted subscription. Perfect. It's beautiful. Beautiful. Everybody says so. A beautiful thing. And you know what it means? You know what it means? When somebody does something so noble, so beautiful, you know what it means? Well, it means that they are. That's right. Best person ever. Best person ever. That's everybody who's ever been born, anybody who's alive right now. Probably any person whoever you think was the best, the most admirable person that's ever lived, compared to Spambot Fodder, dog shit, garbage human. Easily the best person ever. And one more time. Thank you very much, Spambot. Thank you very much. It's an awesome thing. It's a beautiful thing. And it also appeals to my greed, which is great. Spambot says Carney won't lose his own money on this tariff. He will be making fucking bank while he bankrupts Canada. Well, yes, Spambot makes an excellent point here because I think it's 90% of Carney's investments, as we now know. We should have known this during the campaign, but finally we know this. It's, I believe, over 90% of his investments are American companies. Surprise, surprise. I think there's three things that in Canada he's invested in out of all of it. It's very little. Rosie says his French accent is terrible, right? Well, that's what I hear. I don't speak French myself. The only French I know is tabernacle or sacre bleu, sacre bleu, sacre bleu, something like that. Their curses are all like religious in Quebec. Let's say Nevada makes a great point. Stinking commie. He does admire Karl Marx. All right. What else you guys saying? Nevada says, I like Lara. Are you talking about Lara Trump? Izzy says, not sure if coffee is the energy I need tonight. Wonder if there's another source of energy available on Tuesdays. Well, I don't know. I'd have to think about it. Let's see. Have you tried having, you had coffee? Have you tried having like a double espresso? Because if not that, you have to try maybe smoking some crack, or maybe then smoking some of that blue meth. Or if that doesn't work, you could try chewing on some polar bear adrenaline glands. But if that doesn't work, I mean, I don't really know how I can help you. I can't even really imagine what kind of thing would get you past the
They, them, energy. They, them, energy. They, them, energy. They, them, energy.
and teapot. Oh, now I'm feeling it. I'm possessed by that they them energy now. I got that they them energy coursing through my veins. Nothing can stop me now. Let's see. Spambot Fodder says, I'm sure Polymarket will soon have a suicide bet on Gizlade. Probably. Let's see. Rosie says, Commie hate growls gold 1779 out of 1775. I believe that's the most out of 1775 you can get for an ad read. So thank you, Rosie. All right. Now what's going on? Let's see. Rosie says, my entire chat just erased. Weird. We're not even at the glitch yet. I don't know. Spambot says, don't eat polar bear liver. You will die of vitamin A overdose very quickly. Well, thank you for the advice. Because I have one right next to me. I was going to chew on while I was doing the stream, but now I won't. Let's see. As he says, that's what I was looking for. Don't forget the chocolate. Yes, of course, the chocolate. How could I forget the chocolate? All right. You ready, Rosie? Here it comes. What is that? What is this? The structure of tempered chocolate is so fine that it can mold to the microscale ridges of a diffraction grating. Delicious. It's iridescent because of the ridges, like a CD. Even a shard is astonishing. All 100% chocolate. So I don't know. What do you guys think, really? I don't want like holographic chocolate. It's kind of weird. Like, I just feel like that somehow that's going to poison you. It's like it has like a sheen of like gasoline on it or something. I don't know. I think it makes it look not as good, actually. I don't want it. I don't want that weird alien chocolate. No, fuck that shit. Like this. I don't like it. It's weird and alien. Not a fan. How about this, though? Look at this. Whoa. What's going on here?
Hi everyone, today I've decided to make a life-size chocolate leopard. As usual, I begin by creating the main volume with my egg shape, then quickly move on to the crafting of all the legs.
Where do you get the giant chocolate eggs from?
And to do so, I'm stacking multiple lamination of dark chocolate together to make sure the base will be very sturdy. Once the main frame is up, I can start spending time on muscle definition, the paws, and the tail. Once everything has been glued on, I can move on to my favorite part, the making of the face. And when my baby has finally been polished, he is ready to be sprayed. On big projects like that, this part can get very messy, so we usually build some kind of crazy plastic room straight out of an episode of Dexter. By the end of this, I was fully covered in cocoa butter, but it was totally worth it. I can then move on to create the eyes that will give life and emotion to the leopard. Once they are on and I've added the teeth, the last detail will be crafting the whisker out of pulled sugar and gluing them on one by one using a hot pen. Et voila, another showpiece is done. It took me 4 days and a half and around 100 pounds of chocolate to complete the job. Hi everyone, today I've decided to make...
I kind of feel like that's something they'd like give to Marie Antoinette, like right before they guillotined her. What's the word I'm looking for here? Delicious, though. Delicious. Anything else we got? No, nothing like that. All right. Let's see. As he says, that's not chocolate. That is weird. I know. Rosie says, very cool looking chocolate. 11 out of 10. Really? Rosie says, amazing eyes. That's true. I mean, it is amazing. But let's see. Izzy B says, not sure if I want my chocolate to look like it could eat me. Rosie says, chocolate leopard. Yep. Yeah, those eyes were incredible. They were. That's an expensive chocolate leopard thing. I don't know. Whatever. Anyway, let's move on. What are we talking about now? What are we talking about now? We're talking about Pierre Poilievre. So Pierre Poilievre held a press conference this morning, and for the second time this month, he called for lower immigration and heavy limits to population growth. So even right now, just simply for landed immigrants in Canada, the cuts that we have right now, the Trudeau cuts, which have been held by the Carney government, those cuts are still about 150,000 higher than they were before Trudeau got into office. So they talk about cutting immigration in Canada. No, they're not cut. No, it's not even. We need negative immigration in Canada. It means no one else comes in and we allow people to leave. But Pierre Poilievre is saying really what he should have been saying during the last election. He should have been as strong as this. He should have been certainly much stronger than he was during the election. He played it way too safe. Let's take a look.
The final question.
Hi, Mr. Poilievre. So, Paul Dutch, Global News. You previously called for severe limits to population growth in Canada. Can you clarify what you mean by that?
So, first of all, I'll tell you what I don't mean, which is natural population growth. That is almost non-existent in Canada. We have roughly the same number of people who die as who are born. So all of our population growth, in fact, in the last quarter, I think there were more deaths than births. So what I am referring to is migration, net migration. We have millions of people whose permits will expire over the next couple of years, and many of them will leave. We need to ensure that more leave than come in over the next couple of years while we catch up. Well, housing, healthcare, and jobs can catch up. We've had population growth of roughly 1 million a year under the Liberals, while we barely build 200,000 homes. Our job market is stalled, and yet we're adding more people to the workforce. Our young people are facing generational highs in unemployment because the multinational corporations are giving jobs to low-wage temporary foreign workers and that ultimately leave our young people without opportunities. Our country is divided, and we're not able to integrate people at this pace. So in order to fix the problem, we've got to we need to put very hard caps on immigration levels. We need more people leaving than coming for the next couple of years. And we need, so our country can actually catch up. Our immigration policy should invite the right people in the right numbers in a way that puts Canada and Canadians first.
It's just a supply and demand issue. I mean, Trudeau's mass immigration has been the source of so many of Canada's problems, whether you're talking about inflation, particularly housing inflation, right? If you're talking about healthcare, the disintegration of our healthcare system, we're talking about the 24-hour waits at ERs. If you're talking about employment, I mean, we're actually bringing in temporary foreign workers when we're losing jobs. This makes no sense. Canadian kids can't find summer jobs anymore. It's insane. We can also talk about things like crime because the people aren't being vetted properly and they're coming in under false pretenses. They're saying that they're going to go to school and they're not. They're just coming to join a gang. It turns out that's already established itself here. You don't have enough police officers to handle the influx of people and new criminals, new Canadians and new criminals. So it's the obvious source of so many of Canada's problems. Everybody knows it. Even the people who pretend to not know it must know it because it's just simply so obvious. So we need net and negative immigration in Canada for a while, just to kind of bandage our country back together again, because it's been really insane. And of course, I don't expect actually that to happen. I mean, regardless of what the numbers they tell us right now and the cuts they're making right now, I expect to find out next year that, in fact, there were more people that came to Canada than they did under the last year of Trudeau. Don't forget, Mark Carney brought on as an advisor, as a main advisor, the founder of the Century Initiative, whose goal is to make Canada's population 100 million people. So I guess we'll just have to see, but I'm glad to see Pierre Poilievre is now being regularly very strong on this issue and just speaking the obvious truth. The obvious truth. Again, he should have been this forthright during the election. I pleaded with him to do so on my channel. He ignored me. But at least now, I guess the Overton window is shifted enough that he can just be this direct about it, which is what the situation requires. Okay. All right. What do you guys think? Let's see.
The final.
Let's see. We've got some more of Pierre here. So from Jasmine Lane. Just now, Pierre Poilievre calls on Mark Carney to explain to Canadians why he lied. Well, which time? Which of the 500 lies that he's told? Which one? Okay, let's hear Pierre Poilievre.
During the election campaign. Second, we're calling on the Prime Minister to sell his investments, turn them...
Actually, hold on a second. I think I've got a clearer one underneath here. Oh, wait a second. Is it not there? No. Okay. Well, I guess we're on this one. So let's watch this.
During the election campaign. Second, we're calling on the Prime Minister to sell his investments, turn them into cash, hand them to a trustee who can invest them in a way that is completely blind to him, so that he does not have any knowledge of what he owns. That is the spirit of a blind trust. A blind trust is meant to be something that the owner does not know anything about. That's what it means to be blind of the assets. But right now, Mr. Carney is clearly not blind of what he holds, because even we know what he holds due to this disclosure. And this will put him in an impossible position where he will be conflicted at every turn. So either he will have to get up 3 or 4 times every cabinet meeting to avoid...
What a bizarre charade, huh? Like the blind trust that he knows what's in it and everybody knows what's in it. So just everybody knows what's in the blind trust. Anyway, let's continue.
Quite stumbling over the 100 plus potential conflicts that the ethics commissioner has identified, or he will act in the cabinet to potentially favor his own interests. Neither of those possibilities is acceptable. And so, again, we call for him to explain the falsehoods, sell his holdings, end the conflicts, work for Canadians. We need a Prime Minister whose only purpose is serving the Canadian people, to reverse the massive damage Liberals have done, to reverse the out of control immigration, inflation, crime, debt, and our spiraling economy. Now, here we are, a Prime Minister who's going to be constantly distracted by his private interests when the public interest is in such desperate need of attention. Look at how bad things are in Canada today, and getting worse. The debt is growing faster under Mark Carney than it was under Justin Trudeau. Mr. Carney is spending more in his first budget bill, for his first financial bill, spending more than Justin Trudeau was spending. The deficit looks like it could be even bigger under Carney than it was under Trudeau. We have rising unemployment, a crisis of jobs for our young people. Housing is still unaffordable, And Mr. Carney has so far kept the unsustainable immigration numbers that Justin Trudeau left behind, numbers that are overwhelming housing, healthcare, and jobs, that are dividing our country and breaking up any notion of integration. We need a prime minister who's fully focused on undoing the damage that the Liberals have done, not continuing that damage and focusing on his private interests.
So, what is Canada left with after all Carney's tough talk? After all Carney's tough talk, his elbows up, and we're going to lose our sovereignty. And what is Canada left with after all of that? He's the guy who knows how the world works, and he can make deals. What is Canada left with? We're left with something even worse than Trudeau. The same, but worse. More debt. More debt. He's doubling the deficit this year from what Trudeau was doing. It's the same immigration numbers as Trudeau. We don't have a deal with the States. Trump is signing deals with other countries. Right? The first country to sign a deal with the United States should be Canada. We're right here. We're right here. It's by far our biggest trading partner. Right? We should be the first country to get a trade deal. We get nothing. The master negotiator has nothing. The emperor has no clothes. All that is left to the people who voted for Mark Carney is their stupid fucking elbows up chicken dance. That's all they've got. They've got a photo of themselves that they put on Instagram of them doing the fucking chicken dance. That's what they've got. And by the way, a lot of them are losing their jobs now. Their jobs are being cut by Carney after saying it was Pierre Poilievre who was going to do it. But we'll get to that later. All right. Let's move on after my little rant there. Let's see what's going on. Let's see. What's going on? Spambot says, "Did Richie miss my gift?" No, I did a big thing. I made a big deal about it, actually. A big deal. Let's see. The G Flood one? Yeah, I made a major presentation on it. Rewind to watch it. I think you'll be very happy. I did a major presentation on that gift, a major one. So go back and watch it. You don't want to miss it. It was good. It was classic. Best person ever, I've got to say. It was good. I actually outdid myself on that one, I will say. Let's see. JDL, how you doing? Good to see you. All right. Rosie says, "Oh my goodness, Spam, you were celebrated well. We were all called dog poopy." You have to replay. I love it. Izzy says, "Spambot, I think you mentioned it. Don't recall if you played it. I played it like 5 times, at least 4 times." Let's see. All right. Izzy says, "Yeah, Carney is clearly conflicted and should have disclosed it before running. We made a big deal about it. You know, there's a lot of us on the internet made a big deal about it, but apparently the CBC didn't care. Rosemary Barton's teleprompter didn't care, and neither did the lemmings that voted for him." JDL makes a great point here. Says, "Hit the like button, people. Just hit the like button. Hit it. It's beautiful. Everybody loves it. It's the best like button on the internet. Everybody agrees. Everybody says so. It's a beautiful, beautiful like button. Save Western civilization. Hit that like button. Do it now. Also, subscribe to the channel, people. I mean, what are you doing? All right. Decadent. Decadent. That's the word I was looking for. What's happening to my brain? But I can't think of the word decadent now. Decadent. That's what I was thinking with this. So when I said that this looks like something that would be given to Marie Antoinette before they took her out and cut her head off with the guillotine, decadent. That's what I was talking. It's very decadent, is it not? I'm not saying that that's bad. I'm just saying it's a little decadent is all. Look at that. Crazy. Crazy. That's all chocolate. Now, don't get RFK Jr. started in the food colorings on that thing. Don't get him started on that. He'd ruin it, ruin the whole thing. All right. I think I had some more. What do I got? What do I got here? What do I got? I was certain that I had some Pierre Poilievre here. What's this one? All right. From Government is Corrupt. Pierre Poilievre. All right. So it would have saved Canada a lot of trouble if Mark Carney had just disclosed his conflicts of interest during the campaign or before the campaign. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. He wasn't really pushed on it too hard either. But here's Pierre Poilievre giving his opinion on the state of things. Let's take a look.
On Friday, we finally got a look at the Prime Minister's many financial interests that he kept carefully hidden throughout the election and about which he told numerous falsehoods during that same campaign. And so these are what the revelations tell us. One, that Mr. Carney was not upfront or honest with Canadians during the election. He made numerous false statements he would have known were false when he made them. Two, there is a cornucopia of conflicts of interest in these investments, like we have never seen before from a Canadian Prime Minister. So Conservatives are calling for two things today. One, we call on the Prime Minister to come before you and explain the contradiction. How is it that he was telling Canadians that he only had real estate and cash when he knowingly had stock options, and other deferred benefits?
Well, I'll tell you one reason why he would just keep lying is because, let's see. He lied about when his involvement in moving the Brookfield headquarters to New York. He lied about that. Nothing really happened. Just kind of swept under the rug. He lied about having stepped down from the boards of all the organizations that he was a part of. Two easily checked things that were found out immediately, but just didn't matter. Turns out it didn't matter. He just was able to parachute into Canada from, I don't know, New York or Europe or wherever he was, parachute back into the country. He's barely spent any time in over the last 20 years and just become prime minister just because. I guess because Rosemary Barton's teleprompter said that Pierre Poilievre is mean and elbows up, I guess. But he was allowed to lie, and he continued. And he has just continued ever since. Because I guess when you're an elitist, globalist, technocrat banker like Mark Carney, I guess the rules don't apply.
How is it that he claimed he didn't know it was in his blind trust when we now learn that he knew exactly what was in that trust? And how is it that he said that he had no financial interest in Brookfield when he knew exactly that he had stock options and deferred share units? Finally, so we want him to explain why he told Canadians the opposite of the truth during the election campaign. Second, we're calling on the Prime Minister to sell his investments, turn them into cash, hand them to a trustee who can invest them in a way that is completely blind to him. And so, again, we call for him to explain the falsehoods, sell his holdings, end the conflicts, work for Canadians. We need a Prime Minister whose only purpose is serving the Canadian people to reverse the massive damage Liberals have done.
You know, I'm sure that Mark Carney watched those 10 years of the Trudeau government and saw just scandal after scandal, scandal after scandal, lie after lie, and realized that the CBC was fine with it. Really, they talk about it a little bit, but eventually they'd say, "Oh, Trudeau, we can't stay mad at you. You're so progressive and your socks are so cool." And he just watched this, Mark Carney, I'm sure, and just went, so if I become Prime Minister of Canada as a Liberal, I can just literally do or say anything, and it won't matter. The media will just sweep it under the rug as soon as is convenient for them, as soon as possible. I can just lie. I can just be embroiled in scandals and none of it will matter because I've just watched this happen for 10 years. I've watched Justin Trudeau get elected 3 times. It doesn't matter. Canada is a TV-said country, and the CBC will tell the lemmings to vote for me, and enough of them will. I think that's what's going on here. I think Canada has just set a really bad example. And Mark Carney is taking advantage of that. I think that's what's going on here. Let's see. How about this one? Pierre Poilievre just exposed with receipts how Mark Carney lied to Canadians about his conflicts of interest. I think this might just be the same clip. Hold on. Let's see. How long was the other one? It was minute 45. This might be a slightly different one because he did talk for a while.
Let me go through and document all of these claims one by one. First of all, during the election campaign, Mr. Carney said, and I quote, "I own nothing but cash and personal..."
No, he did say that, didn't he? Okay. So in the meantime, we're just going to be filled with stuff like this. From Juno News, a senior economist at the Bank of Montreal has joined the growing chorus of frustration with Prime Minister Mark Carney's lack of transparency with public finances and his government's failure to table an annual budget despite increasing public spending. It's another case. I mean, he must just feel like he can get away with anything. So on one hand, we were sold his just glittering credentials, right? This economic genius, this Oxford economist, and the head of the Bank of England. But he can't put together a budget in quick time because it's summer vacation. Why would you think, like in a normal country, why would any politician think they could get away with that? Pierre Poilievre said that there would be no summer vacation until everything that needed to get done was done. They were just going to work through. Why would you think, when you're promising all of this spending, the parliamentary budget officer says that there's going to be at least a doubling of the deficit from Trudeau. It was supposed to be 40 something billion like 4 months ago. Now it's looking at 92 billion deficit. Why would you think that under these circumstances you could just not table a budget? You say, well, we'll just do it in the fall or something. You run on your credentials, but then you don't follow through. Why would you think you can get away with that? Is that I have a hard time believing this would be normal in any other country. I think it's just, again, I think it's simply a matter of Mark Carney watched the debacle that was the Liberal Party over the last 10 years, just scandal after scandal, just rank incompetence, lies, and they just never really had to answer for any of it. Right until the end, and all they had to do was just put a new face on the party, Mark Carney, and that was good enough. The media was going to be for them. The media was going to be there for them to help cover up, and he knew that the media would be there for him to sweep all the uncomfortableness under the rug. Right? They'll report on it, but then all of a sudden they'll very quickly forget about it, and they'll move on to the next thing. That's the pattern in Canada for 10 years. And now it's just normalized, as if that's just normal politics now. If you're a Liberal in Canada, you can get away with anything. You just got to wait a couple of days. The news cycle, the CBC, Global, CTV, they'll just very helpfully move along the news cycle. And all of a sudden, everything's forgotten and everything's fine. Again, they'll say, Mark Carney, we can't stay mad at you. Not when you're giving us money. Although it seems like it might be backfiring a little bit on the people who sold this guy to the Canadian public. Hold on one second. So here is from Tokyo Rosie. Here's Carleton residents flocked to Bruce Fanjoy because he said that Pierre Poilievre was like the Orange Man, the evil Orange Man, and would cut public service jobs. So Pierre Poilievre actually said that he wasn't going to lay people off. He was going to do it through attrition. So I believe it was that for every 3 people who retired or left their job, they'd only replace 2 of those people. That's how we would shrink the public service, right? Wasn't going to actually fire people. So Carleton was Pierre Poilievre's writing, which he lost to this guy, This guy, and this guy was trying to scare them that Pierre Poilievre was going to fire them all because it's Ottawa and it's a lot of public sector workers there. A lot of people who work. It's a lot of people who work for the government. But now Mark Carney is calling for 15% cuts to the public service. He did not campaign on that. Did not. And neither did this guy. This guy campaigned on scaremongering about Trudeau. Let's take a look.
We need all hands on deck to defend our country from Trump's trade war, and that includes Canada's public servants. Canada has some of the best in the world. Many of you live in Carleton. You're well educated, you work hard, and now more than ever, your country needs you. But Pierre, much like Donald Trump, shows utter disdain for public servants. He's promising Trump-style cuts to the public sector, which would lead to 100,000 jobs.
Just a lie. Just a lie. A straight up lie. It was through attrition, people retiring, and then you wouldn't replace all of those jobs.
Lost. These cuts will put Carleton residents, his own constituents, out of work at a time when we need them most. We can win this election and stop Poilievre from gutting the public service.
Well, guess what, Carleton residents? You took the bait, you bit, and guess what? Now you're screwed. A bunch of you are going to lose your jobs because you voted for this guy who lied to you. And you know what? You knew he was a liberal all along. You never should have trusted him. You never should have listened to him. You win the prize. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. Irony level reached delicious. Look, they voted for this. They voted for this. They voted for this guy. They voted for Mark Carney. What more can you say? Careful what you wish for. New PSAC federal government union. Nearly 2,000 PSAC members have been given notice their jobs are at risk through workforce adjustment. This is before the new Mark Carney cuts come in September. Public Service Alliance of Canada. PSAC raises alarm as Carney government announces sweeping public service cuts. Sometimes you get what you deserve, I guess, right? Let's see. Let's touch on this quickly, too. From Ryan Garrettson from the National Post. Michael Higgins, Mark Carney's ethical guardrails, more of a smoke screen. The Prime Minister's holdings are so vast that it will be near impossible for him to avoid a conflict of interest. Now, the comment up here is that the unfortunate reality is that the elbows up Canadians couldn't care less about this. If anything, they are probably even in denial about it. I think that they probably have rationalized it in their head to be a good thing at this point. I don't know how, but I'm just assuming so. There are a lot of Canadians that will just never admit they're wrong. They are like a voter, a loyal Democrat voter in San Francisco. It can never get bad enough. What did I want to show you? Or something else. Hold on. What's this? Yes, even with cuts, Carney's spending is still off the chart. So these cuts that he's going to balance the operational budget with, this is just going to go to feed the investment. And in fact, this is what he's saying. So he's done this ridiculously childish little trick of splitting the budget. So he says the budget isn't the budget anymore. Actually, it's the operational budget that keeps the government running, and then investment. So he doesn't call it spending, he calls it investment now. What it actually is just going to be money, subsidies poured into green boondoggles that he's connected with. So the cuts to the operating budget, so these jobs, right, these people who voted for Carney are now going to lose their jobs, that money isn't going to go to balance the budget. We already know that the budget is going to be much higher. That the deficit is going to be much higher than it was going to be under Trudeau even, which is incredible. No, that money is going to go to Carney's friends. I've been saying the entire time, I've been saying since the very beginning of the election, Mark Carney is here to extract every bit of wealth out of the country and max out the credit cards. That's what's happening. That's what they're losing their jobs for. That's what these people, not for the benefit of Canada, not to balance the budget, not to get Canada into better financial shape. No. We're going to be in worse shape. The credit cards are going to be maxed out, and every bit of wealth is going to be extracted from this country. That's what they lost their jobs for. Careful what you wish for, people. Careful what you wish for. First reading, even with cuts, Carney's spending is still off the charts. Spending has become so profligate, even 15% cuts won't make much of a dent. I highlighted some parts of this. Good, they're still there. A series of leaked letters sent out by the Prime Minister's office indicate that Prime Minister Mark Carney is seeking to slash government spending by 15% over the next 3 years. If the targets are met, this could work out to about $25 billion in savings per year. But again, this is only the operational budget, the part of the budget that he just split off and is now pretending is the entire budget, while he ignores the mass of spending that he calls investment. The Canadian Centre for Policy Alternatives, for one, said that these would represent the worst cuts to the public service in modern history and would rival the aggressive reductions to government spending that Canada undertook in the 1990s. Yes, under Jean Chrétien, a large percentage of the public sector was laid off, was removed. But the point of that was to balance the budget. They didn't increase massive subsidies to their friends. That's not where the money went. It went to actually balancing the budget, so it made sense. But the spending of the Trudeau era was so profligate and so unprecedented that even after these supposedly draconian cuts, the government of Canada would still be spending money at record highs. That's not even touching on the so-called investment part, which is still money that's going to have to be borrowed. Government expenditures would still be a fifth higher than the pre-CUF era and 25% higher than before the Liberals were first elected. In the last full year before the COVID-19 pandemic, federal program spending was $338.5 billion. In the most recent fiscal year, it was $485.7 billion. This is what happens when you have a compliant media that's clearly on a team, right, that just keeps saying, well, everything's okay, and just downplays and sweeps things under the rug. This is what happens. People don't even know what's happening in their own country is the problem. If you slash 15% from $485.7 billion, you're still looking at federal program spending of $412.9 billion. Thus, even if the Carney government met all their austerity targets, they'd still be overseeing a federal government that is 22% more expensive than it was just 6 years ago. Yeah, Mark Carney, the financial genius, is not saving anybody. And that's if they just cut 15% off the status quo. It doesn't factor in the massive spending proposals being proposed by Carney just in the last few months, all of which are hard to tally up because his government hasn't prepared a budget. That's right. The genius economist hasn't even prepared a budget. You get what you deserve. We still have 50,000 extra civil servants. Well, that's because Trudeau grew. The public sector by 40% in his time. 40%. All of that just simply buying votes. As of the most recent count, there were 357,000 people working for the federal public service. When the Liberals took power in 2015, that number stood at 257,000. In just 10 years, the number of federal bureaucrats has swelled by almost 40%. But I think the real point in all of this that I'm making, my prediction, and I'm certain that I'm correct, is that these people getting a big surprise as a reward for their vote for Carney, for elbows up. All that money is just going to be extracted by Carney. It's not going to balance the budget. We know that he's got no intention of trying to balance the budget, right? We know there's going to be a doubling of the deficit this year. That money is going to go to Carney's net zero boondoggles and companies associated with Brookfield and himself. Blind trust or not, he's not actually blind, and he can remember what he's invested in. He knows what's in his Brookfield ESG fund. All right. Do I have anything else in here before I go to the chat? I don't think so. All right. All right. Well, I guess we could move on then. Let's go to the. I just want to watch this for a second. I want to watch the new. I want to watch the new one. I just want to watch this with you guys because I love it. It just makes me happy.
If you still beneath me, you must choose to find me. If you need a thing, you can tell me. Many auto parts in my warehouse. If you look for them, you can contact me. Don't lie to me.
Who could lie to her? Who could lie to her? I wouldn't question her either. She's clearly an expert on engines.
Don't question me. I have many auto parts. They are complete.
Did you hear that? They are complete. Did you hear that? Many auto parts. They are complete. Don't question her. And whatever you do, don't lie to her.
Many auto parts in my warehouse. If you need the auto parts, I'm waiting for you. Many engines in my warehouse. Choose the Tina, come on and get me.
God damn it. That is better than anything that Hollywood has put out in like 10 years. This is real entertainment. No AI could do this. No AI could do this. No AI will ever be able to do this. Anything as wonderful, as sublime as this. I'm now officially obsessed with Auto Parts Store. What's her name again? Tina? Auto Parts Store Tina. I am now officially obsessed with her. And I hope everybody in the chat is as well. I mean, come on, people. Come on. She's got so many engines, so many auto parts. They're all complete. All she asks of you is not to lie to her. That's all she asks. All right. Let's see. What are you guys saying? Izzy says, not sure I want my chocolate to look like it could eat me. Yes, exactly. But we've gone way back in the chat, way too far back in the chat. Let's see. Did I say hi to JDL? I can't remember now. He says, hello, everybody. How you doing, JDL? Let's see. I think I've already got this. No. All right. Yes, man was celebrated very well. Let's see. Now what do we got? Izzy says, liberal voters are so easy to fool with emotional rhetoric. I know I used to be one. Well, so did I. And it is just emotion. I was so much more emotional back then, I have to say. I mean, maybe it's just because I was younger and more of a moron, I guess. I don't know. Let's see. JDL says, Pierre might need a food taster, perhaps. JDL says, decadence is ruining the West. Yeah, I'm not going to disagree with that. Let's see. Izzy says, worse, I used to vote NDP. Ooh.
Right to jail, right away.
You hear that? Right to jail. Let's see. JDL says it's called memory hole. Well, it's because it's all about feelings. That's why it's so emotional. That's why liberals are so emotional. That's why I was so much more emotional back then. It's not just getting older, right? It literally is an ideology about feelings. It's what feels like, oh, empathy and compassion and my feelings. It's like, it's just feelings. It's about what feels like the progressive I mean, look, back when I was a liberal, liberals were still actually liberal is the thing. They hadn't gone far left authoritarian. So it was actually a different thing. When I was a liberal, I was a very pro free speech, for instance, which I'm not sure you could find a liberal party voter who would be opposed to something like hate speech laws now. I don't think they exist. I think that actual liberals there's very few. They're an endangered species. So, I'm not as hard on myself as I have to give myself a little bit of a break because I wasn't as retarded as the modern leftist. But even back then, a lot of it was based on just emotion, just feelings and empathy. And everything's a human right. Chocolate's a human right. Let's see. As he says, Carney's cutting public service jobs. Yes, he is. Big surprise to those public servants. All those public servants in Carleton that voted for the Liberals. Big surprise to them. They were so proud of themselves for beating Pierre Poilievre in his own riding, right? How proud are they now exactly? Because they wouldn't have actually lost their jobs with Pierre Poilievre. Rosie says, I have been conservative since birth. Well, I envy you. By the way, I am still young. Nevada says, now you got a stinking commie and no job. Not looking good. Now, it may be that some of them will just get shuffled around, but I don't think so. It sounds like he's looking to cut those jobs. Let's see. Rosie says, words that show that we are smart, profligate. Yep, that's a good one. And decadent. Yes, decadent. Rosie says, sorry, I make me laugh. I should just keep things to myself at times. No, always tell us. No secrets. No secrets on Radio Baloney. Everybody tell me your innermost thoughts right now. I want to hear your inner monologue. Everybody, do it now. Let's see. Rosie says, thanks, JJ. It is more fun if others laugh too, but really, I laugh either way, and that's the way to be. Rosie says, Richie keeps distracting me from the chat. He's a real jerk, that Richie Baloney guy. Let's see. Rosie asks, wonder if she knows noodles. That's an excellent question. Excellent. I wonder. Although I feel like noodles is more like maybe like Vietnam or something. So I don't know. Maybe not. But all people in China do know each other. I'm certain of that. Let's see. Richie says, Richie, were you ever in TV? No, never. I've never been inside of a TV. Let's see. You get stuck in those. And they're too small now. I guess when I was a kid, I could have. They were giant then. Let's see. Nawada says, feelings are emotions. Yep. I think that's true. I don't think we have to argue about that. Nevada says, as we age, we get less emotional and wiser. It does seem to be the case. All right, let me skip to the end here. Rosie says, that booing of yourself is hilarious, Richie. In the television production industry, not in a TV. No, I've never been. Never been a part of that. Thank God. Bunch of degenerates. Let's see. All right, let's move on. Let's just do this. Maybe one more time with the engine lady.
I have many
It means a lot to her that they're complete. You can see that. You can hear that, the emotion in her voice there. You can hear it, the emotion in her voice, that they are complete. It means something to her. It matters.
Don't question me. I have many auto parts. They are company. Many auto parts in my warehouse. If you need the auto parts, I'm waiting for you. Many engines in my warehouse. Choose the Tina, come on and get me.
Do you know what? That song is actually really catchy. It's really catchy. I'm becoming obsessed with this. We better move on. So, after the CBC's slavish devotion to Mark Carney, who promised during an election campaign to give the CBC an extra $150 million, which they would only get if he won, because Pierre Poilievre was promising to defund them. Okay. So after that, after the slavish devotion to Mark Carney from the CBC, just waiting to cash in that check. Everybody's getting a raise. Everybody's getting a raise. We're going out for steak tonight, although they probably all vegans. Let's see. CBC Radio Canada could see almost $200 million in cuts within 3 years. I wonder if they feel scorned. I wonder if they feel betrayed. Under the Carney Liberals. It's not even Pierre Poilievre doing that. That's according to an internal memo. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. What happened? What happened? Let's see. Translate to English. Let's do that. Uh-oh. The lemmings are going to be upset. Let's get rid of that. Reduction in, so this is from Journal of Montreal. This is from the Montreal Journal. Reduction in federal spending. CBC Radio Canada could slash up to almost euro 200 million over 3 years. What? Euro? No, that must be some sort of mistranslation there. Let's see. What's going on here? Prime Minister Carney's Ottawa-style spending cutoff plan could have an impact on CBC Radio Canada. The new CEO warns that this could amount to cuts close to $200 million in 3 years. $200 million in 3 years. An internal note sent to employees on Tuesday, of which the Journal obtained a copy, Marie-Philippe Bouchard states that the public broadcaster must, quote, take part in this exercise by proposing discounts to consider. According to Prime Minister Mark Carney's plan last week, federal ministers must find ways to save 7.5% of operating costs next year and 10% by the end of summer. For CBC Radio Canada, this could represent a potential target of, why are they saying euros there? 98 million next year, amounting to 198 million in 3 years. Says Ms. Bouchard, reductions of this magnitude, if implemented, would have an impact on certain jobs. So 198 million in 3 years. That would have an impact on certain jobs. Now, of course, Rosemary Barton and David Cochrane would be fine. In fact, they probably get raises while their underlings are fired. So I'm sure they don't care. I'm sure they think their jobs are secure anyway. But wouldn't it be funny if they actually got cut? Wouldn't that be terrible? What an awful thing. What an irony that would be. How tragic. So, yeah, it seems like a lot of people who shilled for Carney, a lot of people who voted for him for idiotic reasons, a lot of incredibly gullible people who voted for Mark Carney, are getting a most unpleasant surprise. And at the end of it, they won't even be able to say, well, I mean, I guess we had to do it for the good of the country. At least that money went to, balancing the budget and reducing the national debt. No, because Mark Carney is obviously planning to max out the credit card, leave Canada holding the bag. Every penny that gets cut from like the CBC or from cutting the public sector. That's all going into the green boondoggle, the global green finance boondoggle. It's going to Brookfield and Mark Carney's investments and his buddies. Mark Carney is going to rob this country blind. He's going to max out the credit cards and leave us with the bill. Guaranteed. Well, that's just what I think. All right. Hold on a second, people.
Many auto parts in my warehouses. If you need the auto parts, I'm waiting for you.
Do I need any auto parts? Do I need any? I mean, if there's something I need, maybe I should go to China. I don't know. Maybe I should go there, that warehouse. I don't know. She's got many engines there. Many. They're very complete. Well,
Many engines in my warehouses. Choose the Tina, come on and get they are.
so good. So damn good. You must choose to find me. You must choose to find me. Those are magical words. Auto parts store Tina, I choose to find you. Rosie says, I love the way she pronounces the final E on every word. I know, it's wonderful, isn't it? It's wonderful. It's charming. Nevada says, Richie has the perfect look for radio. Yes, I have a face for radio, I'm afraid. Just had to say it. Nevada says, well, thanks. Thanks, guys. Real nice. Real nice. It's going to do wonders for my confidence. All right. Well, I guess there's not much chat going on, so I guess I'll just keep talking about crazy news stuff. Let's see. 121 from Blacklock's reporter. This is actually behind a paywall, and I'm not going to open it because I can't just spend money on everything. 121,000 mail-in ballots went uncounted. New Elections Canada figures show. Feds already admit mislabeling some and leaving others unopened. We're demanding transparency. 121,000. Is that enough to turn an election in Canada? I think it is. I think a lot of it was in Quebec, where the Liberals picked up a bunch of seats, by the way. So that's going to do great for confidence in the government, in the credibility of the government. But it's just Canada. It'll be swept under the rug. I mean, there's a reason why it's coming out on Blacklock's reporter, right? It's not CBC. It's not Global. It's not CTV. It has to, independent news or smaller, corporate news has to be the ones who uncover this stuff, like 80% of the time. Memes, what's going on here? Everything happens for a reason. Sometimes the reason is you're stupid and make bad decisions. That is true. That's a bad decision there. He's not going to evolve into a human. Definitely not. He's got no chance. No chance whatsoever. All right. Nature's harsh and unforgiving. Homeschooling with grandpa. That looks like a lot of fun. That's good homeschooling right there. Good homeschooling. You can defend the beaches with that. Let's see. Oh, crap. Was that today? Those are dinosaurs. Get it? Get it? Oh, crap. Was that today? Damn. Let's see. All right. All right. So that I only had 3 new memes tonight. Oh, well, what are you going to do? Russia hoax investigation. Maybe I should save this. Maybe I should do a deep dive into the Russian hoax investigation so far, everything that's going on so far. Maybe I should do that. Maybe I should save it for that. What's going on here? Mom Donnie's former intern called activism jihad and confronted police officers as pigs. As pigs. So you can often judge somebody by the people they hang around with. And yeah, And by the way, with those eyebrows, you shouldn't be calling anybody else names. Sweetheart. Jihad, but jihad's just an inner struggle, right? Inner struggle. Sometimes the inner struggle is so intense that people actually blow up because of it. I think that's what's really happening. It's just an accident. Let's see. He wants to seize the means of production. He wants to create housing communes. Let's see. He wants to defund the police. He thinks that violence is a social construct. And he hangs out with these his former intern here, who's apparently a jihadist. Calls activism jihad, and confronted police officers as pigs. Called police officers pigs. So generally just an asset to society. It just keeps getting worse with this guy. Maybe the worst thing of all is those awful raps that he used to do. He used to be this incredibly cringe rapper. That may actually be the worst of it all. Let's see. Eva Wallace. How dumb does one have to be to not see this is happening again? Well, from James Lindsay, I guess he posted this. Mao's land reform movement. A mass movement led by CCP leader Mao Zedong to seize the land and real estate of private property owners in the 40s and 50s. At first, Mao told peasants in China that the rich landowners and farmers were to blame for their poverty, and taking their property was social justice. So, yeah, the phrase social justice been around for a long time. Soon afterwards, middle-class property owners were labeled rich and had their property seized by the state too. Anyone who criticized the property seizures was labeled a class enemy and denounced as evil in public displays called struggle sessions. Any of this sounding familiar? By the 1960s, the peasants who were given redistributed property by the CCP had it taken away from them too. The property was moved to collective land ownership by the state. In the end, an estimated 2 million were killed during the land reform movement, and 6 million were re-educated. Re-educated in camps. Sound familiar? Well, I think that we compare them to the Soviets, the Bolsheviks, and also to the Maoists, and it seems like Mao has a bit of an edge. I think they seem to prefer Mao, right? Like the Cultural Revolution, the Cultural Revolution in the Western world, which is still ongoing, although it seems to have de-intensified a little bit as people just gotten entirely sick of it. But it's still ongoing, but totally modeled on Mao's Cultural Revolution and the Four Olds. So, and I've been saying that on this channel, I think since the beginning of the channel. Yeah, Zoran Mamdani says the NYPD is an instrument of white supremacy and oppression. White supremacy and oppression. He's really just talking about capitalism. That's what he's talking about. He's talking about the things that uphold capitalism. Anything that upholds capitalism is white supremacy, because capitalism is a white supremacy. It's also predictable and childish. It's just so hard to believe anybody when everybody has a supercomputer in their pocket, and you could even go to Wikipedia and look up decoolization, right? The Holodomor. Read about, like, you can go to Wikipedia and read about Stalin, right? Or read about Lenin, right? And even on Wikipedia, right, you're still going to walk away going, oh my God. Like, you could read about Pol Pot, for instance, right? Like, even on Wikipedia, like the main stuff, they do get right dates. Like, they don't deny, like the killing fields, right? Maybe they'll give you slightly under exaggerated numbers or something, but they'll give you the range. You have to be careful with Wikipedia, especially when it comes to political stuff like Trump, Russiagate, all that kind of stuff. But any person in the world can just, they've got a supercomputer in their pocket, and they can go and look at who Castro and Che, what were they really like? The information's out there. You can look at what's happened. You can just get a basic idea of socialism's and communism's record. And it wouldn't take you long. You could figure it out in like 30 minutes, right? And yet people still fall for it. It's astonishing. It must just be a total lack of curiosity or something. I don't know. What I do know is I need an engine.
To found me. If you need a thing, you can tell me. Many auto parts in my warehouse. If you look for them, you can contact me. Don't lie to me. Don't
I would never lie to her. I want to tell everybody right now, I would never lie to her.
question me. I have many auto parts. They are complete. Many auto parts.
They are complete. The passion. She is so passionate about those those engines being complete, those auto parts being complete. I mean, it really means something to her. This isn't a joke. This isn't a joke to her. This isn't a hobby. This is her life, goddammit. And when she says those auto parts are complete, she means it. She means it. The word complete, that means something to her. That defines her life. She's passionate about it, damn it. Don't lie to her. Don't. Just go and get your parts.
In my warehouse, if you need the auto parts, I'm waiting for you. Many engines in my warehouse. Choose the Tina, come on and get they are.
I can't get enough. I can't get enough. I love the song. I love everything about this. What are you guys saying? Travis, how you doing, Travis? Says no fraud here. Quebecois are stupid enough to elect Liberal fairly. I didn't say it. Travis says can't stand the sound of her voice. What? 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 Can't stand the sound of her voice? Well, I mean, I don't even know what to say to that. But I mean, you do at least admit that her engines are very complete, right? You do at least admit that. Rosie says that our pocket computers are true supercomputers, Titan, Kraken, Gaia, but your point was on target. Yeah. I mean, I guess I'm thinking like compared to I'm still old enough to remember like an old like Apple II or like an Amiga or a Commodore 64, you know. So that's just what I compare everything to. That's my baseline there. Commodore 64. Oh, VIC-20. Sorry, VIC-20. That's my baseline right there. Anything that's better than a VIC-20 is a supercomputer to me. As he says, glitch. Nevada says, sounds like someone stepping on a mouse. Oh, I'm really not enjoying this here. I'm not enjoying this. JDL says, I'm of French Canadian descent, Travis. Yeah, it's not just the Quebecois. It's a lot of it was a majority of the Anglo voters as well. So nobody's innocent in this. They are also idiots. So just both. We're just saying anybody who voted Liberal is an imbecile. That's what we're saying. We're not taking it back. JJ Nevada says, I like the other gal better. It's the same gal, my friend. It's the same one. Look, it's the same one.
I hope you can take them. They are very complete.
Wait a second. Is it the same one? Wait a second. Is it the same one? Is it two different ones? Is it two different Chinese ladies that have auto parts warehouses and they're both making very similar videos? Are they the same person or different people? Now I'm starting to wonder.
What are you thinking?
No, it's the same one. It's the same one. But they did look kind of different, though, didn't they? But either way, let's see. Spamabot says, I had a Z80 expansion board on my VIC-20 as a kid. Awesome. Rosie says, expansion board, laughing emoji compared to today. JJ says, they're different. They're different. No, well, they've got the same thing at the end, though. So it has to be the same one. It has to be the same Chinese engine warehouse singing lady. It must be the same one. I don't know how many there are of those in China. Probably more than one, I'm guessing. But it has to be the same one. All right. Anyway, let's get on to the last tab. We're 2 hours and 25 minutes. Crazy how the time flies, huh? Isn't it crazy? Don't you guys think it's crazy? All right, what's going on? Let's go here. This is just like what the world is getting terrifying. Andy Greenberg posted this. Ahead of DEF CON, the always brilliant Sami Kamkar gave me a preview of his infrared laser spy tool. This is from August 8th, 2024. He can point a laser through a window at a laptop to detect its vibrations and derive the words typed on it from the acoustics of different keystrokes. So this makes me very uncomfortable, but I have the article right here. Watch how a hacker's infrared laser can spy in your laptop's keystrokes. Like, how are you supposed to keep your passcode secret now if they could just shine lasers at you from outside your house and find out what your passwords are? This doesn't seem all right. This doesn't seem all right to me at all. Maybe they should put him in prison to stop him from spreading this technology. So there you go. See, he's shooting lasers at the computer, and he thinks that he can, well, apparently he can figure out what you're typing. Now, it doesn't seem to be, now I did take a look at this article, and you can see here's a sample of text he was able to recover in one case from his own typing compared to the original. So, I mean, it's not perfect. Hello and welcome to the laser microphone test. Hello with 2 H's and welcome to with 2 H's, the Plazer microphone test. So, and then it seems to get a little bit more weird down here. So, like, what does this say? AOS, we neither technically treat the signal as sound. I mean, it's still impressive considering it can't see what's being typed. So especially if you've got like a random password, this probably isn't going to help, I guess. Maybe it would. Maybe, trial and error. If you just keep doing it enough times, the right one comes. But there seems to be enough mistakes that if you've got a complicated password, it would struggle with that. But still, it's disconcerting. And of course, these things are just always getting better. He says that the keystroke spying trick works best when he can aim his laser at a spot on a laptop that reflects light, ideally a shiny metal or plastic spot on the laptop's case, such as a logo. I mean, I guess the message here is that if you see somebody peering in your window, shooting a laser through your window at your laptop, don't just let it go. Like, say, hey, put something in front of the laser, maybe call the police. Say, hey, stop doing that. Hey, stop shooting that laser at my computer. Don't just let it go. Say, hey, get out of my window. Get out of my window. Get out of my window. Sami Kamkar, I saw you on the internet. Get out of my window. Stop shining your laser at my computer. But if you wanted to know what somebody was saying in an email, for instance, yeah, you could parse it out from this. Absolutely. So that's disturbing as well, too, like a private communication. Now, he does have to shoot that laser through your window. So I don't know. I don't know if you can actually see the laser. Like, would it be like this bright red laser? Or it would be like an invisible laser. So that would make it easier. Could you shoot the laser from like a window across the street in through the window? I guess it's, it starts to get difficult. I mean, can you see the computer? But still, it's it is a very James Bondy type tool though, huh? Could you get a small little laser and like go to Starbucks and somebody sat there on their laptop and then with an invisible laser, if it's not red, then read people's emails, maybe get their passwords, maybe if you get lucky. It's all very disconcerting stuff. Let's see. Camcar says he's been determined to spy on strangers' emails. Determined to build his own laser-based spy setup since he watched a DEF CON talk 15 years ago in which a pair of hackers demonstrated some rudimentary detection of keystrokes with a laser pointed at a laptop from across the room. That was 15 years ago? What? It blew my mind. I want to do this. Kemkar said he remembers thinking, but I also wanted to improve the attack. Can I make it work from outside, from far away? Can I do it with an infrared laser so the target can't see it? And can I also hear what's happening in the room, such as by bouncing the laser off a window? The answer is yes to all the above. I'm so sick of this now. That's it. I'm not leaving the house. I'm blacking out. I'm going to get some black paint tomorrow. Paint all of the windows black. That's just it. I'm done. That's done. I don't want people reading my emails. No, thanks. I don't want people shining lasers at me trying to find out private details, passwords, and stuff. Forget it. I'm done. It's over. Let's see. All right. So anyway, there's that. So that's going to make the world worse. More of that. He's working. Sammy Kamkar is working hard to ruin your life so you can never be at peace ever again. You could never rest easy again as long as Sammy is on the case. Thanks, Sammy. Thanks. Maybe it's something else. Maybe make a game or something. God damn it, Sammy. Did it have to go this far? Let's see. What are you guys saying? Rosie says, this idea was used many years ago. Directional mics pointed at typewriters. They could tell from the sounds of the keys pressed which one. Definitely QWERTY. Cannot remember if it was Embassy. Yeah, I don't like all this stuff. I don't like it. Izzy says, gives you a starting point for a brute force attack. That's a good point. Let's see. Air gap exploits are scary, Izzy says. Yes, they are scary. All right. What else we got? As he says, it's amazing the audio they can pick up from the visual vibrations on a chip bag on a table. Really? Good Lord. I wonder if people are spying on us right now. Geez, I hope not. Let's see. Well, look at that. Not even giving me another ad. One ad tonight. That's twice that's happened now. God. What did I do to deserve this? I work so hard. All right. Let's get on with this. Tim Burchett. This is how you steal an election. Tim Burchett. Oh, what's going on here? He's married to Kelly, by the way. Congressman representing Tennessee 2nd. So, former Knoxville. Anyway, so you need to add this from Gabriel. You need to add that this was from 2020 when the Democrats stole it for Biden, hence everyone wearing masks. Otherwise, you know who's going to jump on it as if it were 2024. Well, let's take a look here. What's going on?
So this woman is delivering a stack of ballots, and the person behind her rolls down the window and hands her a ballot to put in the ballot box with her stack. And then she goes back to her car with the stack of ballots again And I think at that point she realized that the ballots were not signed, and so you're going to watch her sign each ballot in the vehicle, and she signs them and then puts them on the dashboard individually. First, she searches for a pen, so it takes a second, but we've got this speeded up so you can see. But yeah, so she's signing, and when it's slowed down, you can see the pen in her hand when she reaches up and puts the ballot on the dashboard each time.
That is awesome.
Yeah, so she's
That's it.
You guys are
Good fun. Good fun. That's
yeah, they did a great job.
Fun.
They did a great job finding this, and as you can see, there it is right there, and they did a close up with the camera. The footage is very clear. There she goes, right to the drop box. So, mission accomplished.
Unbelievable.
So this woman is
like, how many of these people would you need to flip a state? Right, each one. What is she? Is she doing this just all day long? Is she doing 1,000, 10,000 ballots? What if you have 100 of them? What if you have 1,000 of them? Right. Yeah, the most secure election in history. This would have been very easy in 2020 to do, obviously. Yeah, this is stuff that's all got to be gotten to the bottom of as well as the thing we won't speak of. When I caught my dog trying to steal the treats, he had the audacity to pretend that he was sleepwalking. This is so funny. Oh, dogs are awesome. Dogs are awesome. Let's see. This Nick Cruz Patain. This Tesla Model Y owner created fold-out solar panel capable of charging 10 to 20 miles per day that conveniently stores on roof racks on a Tesla. These solar panels will power an external power bank, which can power various devices as well as the car. The company says there is negligible drag loss if 1 to 2% when traveling with it in stored position. So this is a perfect apocalypse car. So 10 to 20 miles a day it can store. So, you let that thing charge up for a couple of weeks, you can make some good trips. So this is if you're planning for the apocalypse and if you're prepping, which you probably should be, this is, if you can afford it, one of these. That can keep you on the road. Now, of course, there'll be people trying to kill you to take it away from you. So you're also going to want to be armed as well. But, apocalypse. Yeah, this is basic apocalypse stuff, right? Let's see. What do we got going on here? So, Planet of Memes, just why? That is the question. Just why? Like, who are you? Like, this is out of spite. Like, this isn't because you like it. This is out of spite. This is a feminist who thinks this is going to spite the patriarchy or something. Everything they do is out of spite, right? They're too busy being spiteful to ever actually improve themselves. Why would you be excited about that? Like, you've just made yourself permanently gross. That's what she's done. So from now on, there's just no question. Yuck. Right? Whatever. She's not horrible or anything, but now it's just a permanent yuck. So she just made sure forever it's just yuck. Do even lesbians like this? Is this what the lesbians look at this and go, oh, that's sweet. Nice. That's great. I don't know. I find it very weird. What is the point? It feels like a spiteful act because it doesn't look good. Like, that's not going to look good, right? That's something that if she ever wakes up from her feminist delusion, that she's going to regret. It's just to spite the world. It seems like so much of what the modern left does is just to spite the world, just to be gross. They just they embrace ugliness and dysfunction and chaos. Like, you've just permanently yucked yourself. People will see it and go, yuck, forever. Is that winning? Is that winning? It looks like she thinks she's winning there. I don't feel like it's winning. Nevada says bunch of hateful retards. Rosie says so disgusting. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Izzy said, even used a leaf on a plant to get audio. Talking about the laser things. Don't like them. Nevada says, commies want to burn it all down. They do 100%. Rosie says, permanent marker or tattoo. That's a tattoo. She's getting that. She's in a tattoo parlor. She's getting a tattoo. Celebrate that. Celebrate the permanent yuck. Maybe it was faked. Maybe they just did marker and she's pretending that she had a tattoo. I wouldn't put that past her. Let's see. Spambot says she could save money just by letting her armpit hair grow long, but she wants it permanent. It's a statement, right? It's spite. All right. Let's keep going. I think we're coming to the end pretty quick. I don't think we have too much more. Actually, I think maybe we do, actually. French woman's secret to living to 122 revealed. Jean Calment, a French woman, captivated the world by living to the incredible age of 122. Her secret: never worked a day in her life. Well, that helps. Ate over 2 pounds of chocolate per week. Did you hear that, Rosie? Smoked cigarettes for 100 years. Why did I quit? I was so much happier. Enjoyed a daily glass of port wine. That's tempting. That tempts me, but no, I'm not going there. Despite an unhealthy lifestyle, Calment outlived her daughter, grandson, and even the lawyer who made a deal to pay her until she died. Let's take a look. 122, and she seems fairly happy. Seems like she's okay. 122, I mean. She was 22 years old in 1897. 1897, 22 years old. Wow. Like the First World War wouldn't be for another 17 years. Wow. So she would have been 39 in the First World War when the First World War started. Wow. 39. And then, hold on. So World War II, 1939. So let's see. So she was 39 in 1914. If I have my math right here. 39, 1914. So 49, 59, and 64. Because she had been 64 when World War II started. Is my brain breaking, or am I right here on this? Let's see. She lived before they understood bacteria. Wow, from Radio Streamer. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy? Nuts. All right. And she seems like she's doing all right there, too. Let's see. There's the chocolate. Chocolate. All right. Scientists just made light act like Jell-O. I think that's Spambot sent this to me. I think a little while ago, actually. I'm just getting to it now. Imagine something that's both a solid and a liquid. Now imagine it's made of light. Yeah, these scientists basically made light turn into a weird glowing blob that holds its shape and flows. It's called a quantum super solid. And no, you can't sit on it or drink it, but it's still insanely cool. Let's take a look. Look at that.
And it flows like a liquid. For the first time, scientists just turned light into a solid. And it flows like a liquid. For the first time ever, researchers in Italy have created a quantum supersolid using only light, a bizarre state of matter that defies physics as we know it. Over a decade ago, they showed light could act like a fluid, but now they've taken it further. Solid light that flows. Are we unlocking new dimensions of reality? Scientists just turned light into a solid.
Well, I don't know about that, but that's damn cool. Damn cool. What's this one here? I guess this is another example of the super solid. Let's take a look.
Researchers just achieved a groundbreaking feat in quantum physics. They turned laser light into a super solid. You might be wondering, what's a super solid? It's a state of matter that's both solid and fluid at the same time. Sounds crazy, right? To create this super solid, researchers used a special material called gallium arsenide and fired a laser at it. This created hybrid particles called polaritons, which have properties of both light and matter. By constraining these polaritons, the researchers forced them to organize into a super solid structure. This is a huge breakthrough, as it opens up new avenues for studying exotic states of matter. Here's the coolest part. Super solid exhibits zero viscosity, meaning it can flow without resistance. It's like a liquid, but with a crystalline structure. Researchers just achieved a ground...
Weird. What are they going to do with that? Probably use it to spy on us, I'm guessing, like everything else. Rosie says, beam me up, Scotty. It's crazy. Let's see. What do we got now? I shouldn't laugh at this, but okay, let's take a peek.
Hey, mommy. Espera un momentito, mami. Está tanto tu trabajo. ¿Qué pasó, mami?
¿Qué te pasa? ¿Qué te pasa?
Oye, amigo.
Where is this place that like every woman wears a wig? How many women wear wigs? Or like extensions or whatever it is. I don't know. Let's see. I don't know about all this. Lloyd Christmas sets up a trap for those wanting to thieve his bicycle. You know, bicycle thieves, there's nothing that's too bad. There's no punishment too harsh for bicycle thieves. He just wants to steal a kid's bike here. Like, if you're just going to go steal a child's bike, you deserve to have that iron rod go up your ass. I'm sorry, there's no punishment too harsh. None. I mean, just think about that. You're like hanging around. There's a child's bicycle. Oh, that hurts. I think that went right in. If you did that in Canada, you'd go to prison for life if you did something like that. But think about that. Think about the state of mind of somebody. They see a child's bicycle and they think, oh, I'll steal that. I'm sure that won't bother the child that I stole it from. I don't know. I think that he got what he deserved there. Let's see. What do we got now? Jezebel behavior. What compels someone to do this? So, post surgery update after taking 50 guys in my back door, she says. Back door. What do you expect?
So I guess you can let me know. It's still
So I am about 36-ish hours post surgery, and we'll just say that my bum hole, I can't bend down because when I get up, it feels like everything's going to tear.
What did she think was going to happen? Like, I don't know. Like, is this OnlyFans or something? Like, it's going too far. It's going too far. Maybe they just need to ban that, right? Because humans can't be trusted with this stuff. Rosie says this is beyond disgusting, degenerate, completely lost. Yes, 100%. 100%. Like, it's just getting too much now. I think maybe they should just ban OnlyFans. If that's what's happening. What's going on here? I think the question was with this one, with whoever sent it in, I can't remember who, is this what Mr. Snacks would be like? And no, Mr. Snacks is an a-hole, and he would freak out and attack the cat and chase it around. And if the cat attacked back, he would probably run away and hide. But he wouldn't do this. He wouldn't be excited to be friends with the cat. He would immediately hate the cat. Izzy says 50 guys in one night. Wow, and that's the back door we're talking about. The back door. I think you just need to ban OnlyFans. Spambot says apparently Bonnie Blue wants to do 1,000 men in 24 hours. Like, this is not good for society. It's just, didn't she end up in hospital as well? And like, she's got like AIDS and monkeypox and shit. Like, it's just, Radio Streamer says now she wants 2,000. Like, this is mental illness. That's just mental illness at that point. Rosie asked, did these women have loving fathers? They are broken. I'm guessing they did not. I'm going to go ahead and take a wild guess. I'm going to go on a limb here and say, no, what's happening here? This is nicer. Let's do this. I'm just glad he didn't do it to Engine Lady. She did say specifically not to hurt her. She did, and that's hurtful. I want to watch this, but we're going to watch this right at the end, and I'm going to cut off YouTube before we put it on. Maybe we should cut off YouTube right now, actually, for some of these ones that Spambot sent in. Probably should have cut it off already. All right, let's do it. We're going to, well, it's almost 3 hours, so I think that's okay. Anybody watching on YouTube right now, come over and join us on Rumble and introduce yourself to the chat as well. It's a bunch of awesome people, great community, best community on the internet, beautiful, beautiful community, #1 community, very complete community. And join us over here. Just do it. Just do it. Don't be crazy. Just do it. All right. But anyway, I will see everybody over on YouTube. I will see you on Friday. We're going to continue on Rumble and on X and on Locals as well. This is a beautiful thing. A very complete stream over here. Very complete. Let's do it. Good night, YouTube. Not everybody else.